Hi, my name is Gabriel Cruz, and welcome to step one of setting a passing score or a minimum level of proficiency. This, as I said in the overview video, this is really a critical step in any program. No matter how good of a test you use, if you use a passing level that's too high or too low, the test doesn't matter. You're going to get results that are less than desirable. So we need to make sure we get this process right. And in order to do that, there are a number of different options that we can follow. Okay, in today's segment, we're going to be talking about benchmark testing. Benchmark testing is something I personally like for a few different reasons. It's affordable, it's pretty fast, and it's pretty easy. Except there's a few dynamics that need to be in play in order to make benchmark testing an option. So step one, or let's just describe the way in which it works, all right? You need to have people that are on the job, right? So if you're testing for someone for a given position, you need to have people that are already in that job, that you have evaluated on some level, meaning you know who's doing it well, you know who's doing it great, you know who's maybe not doing it so well. And by doing it well, I don't mean that they come to work on time, that they work really hard, that they don't take any breaks, whatever it is. I don't know if not taking any breaks would be a good thing, but hey, either way, you need to have people on the job, because what we're going to be doing is basically taking people's scores and saying, okay, because these people tested here, we now know that other people need to test here in order to do this job well, all right? And one of the key factors here is making sure that you don't test your all-stars. You know, I would say just about 90% of cases when we start a benchmark testing program with the company, they almost always grab their all-stars, all right? We don't want your all-stars. We want the people that are just getting by, right? Like, they're not in trouble. They're not risking their jobs, or their jobs aren't at risk, but they are doing a good enough job where you will keep them, you want to keep them, but they're not the very best, okay? And I don't mean that they show up to work on time. What I mean is from a performance aspect, from a linguistic aspect. But there are some other factors, all right? Making sure that they speak the language. Like, if you have people that are doing the job in English and now you're looking to make it a bilingual role, that doesn't mean you can't use your English-speaking people to set a level for Spanish. You can. It's perfectly viable. Is it better to have in Spanish? Sure, it's definitely better. But that's not always necessary. I shouldn't say it's not always necessary. That is never necessary. But what you do want to make sure of is that you test the required number of people. You need to test 3 people, all right? And that'll give you, hopefully, a level of proficiency that you can now replicate or require going forward. I've done it with as little as 2 people, but if you don't get a match on that proficiency level, it then becomes a little tricky to make it work. You can still do it, and then you need to kind of write up some rationale after reviewing the rating levels as to why you're going with one level over the other. Ideally, if you have 3, just test 3. And if you don't get agreement with 3 and you have more, then test to 5. Test to where you get a consensus. And then that'll give you your level that you can then apply going forward. That is an absolutely defensible process for setting a minimum level of proficiency. Whether it's for an incentive pay program or for some hiring initiative that you have, it's all the same. I will say that it's important to make sure that for different jobs, you're testing different sets of people. Now, you can group jobs and you can make kind of job families, and you can say that an assistant to let's say a customer service rep needs the same level of proficiency as a technical service rep or as an account manager. You can take groups of jobs and kind of tie them all together and say, these people, because the job requirements are all so similar, this is family A, and then I'm going to benchmark the people for these particular jobs. And when you're doing that, I would make sure to take people from each of those jobs so that there's equal representation. And then kind of write it up and then call it a day and take the consensus rating and make it your rating going forward. Easy, right? Well, sometimes it is. There are other options, okay? The other options are what we're going to cover in the subsequent videos. So in the very next video, we're going to talk about a task analysis. A task analysis is great. They can be a little expensive and a little time consuming. I would say the average cost for a task analysis is about $1,000, but it brings a lot of benefit. And we're going to get into that or in the next video. And I hope you'll kind of tune in, all right? So thank you very much. I hope this video had some value for you. And if so, I hope you'll tune in for the next one. Thank you and have a great day.